Charlotte Flair fans, I got some news that y'all have been waiting almost a year to hear about. In this video, I'm going to tell you exactly what's going on because it is happening. Yes, sir. So let's get into it. So, obviously, Charlotte Flair, she's been out the game for almost a year. Actually, it has been a year. And it's because she torn her ACL, MCL, and meniscus on an episode of Friday Night SmackDown while wrestling Asuka. Devastating. There's fan cam footage of her in the ring after the match was ended, and you can just tell that her heart was literally breaking as the seconds went by on this video. She was emotional. She was cussing. She was very ginger with her movements. I mean, it was bad. It was bad. I have an image like imprinted in my head of that. And it was a huge blow for WWE because obviously Charlotte Flair is one of their biggest stars, not only in the women's division, but in the entire company. They have literally spent the last decade building this woman up, building her up as the GOAT of women's wrestling. I believe she's at 15 world title reigns if you include the Divas Championship, not the NXT Women's Championship. She will surpass John Cena in her father's records. She will become the most accolade wrestler of all time because she's probably got at least another 5 years in her, if not longer. And that doesn't even have to be full-time. That could be part-time. And since she's been out, a lot has changed. A lot has changed. There are new faces. There are faces that are gone. There are faces that are coming back. WWE has elevated the lights of Liv Morgan, Tiffany Stratton, Nia Jax, Rhea Ripley. They've brought in people like Jade Cargill. They've signed people like Julia and Stephanie Valkyra. They've elevated and improved Roxanne Perez. A lot of good names out there for Charlotte Flair to work with. And that leads us to today's video because WrestleVotes reported today that yes, Charlotte Flair's return is imminent with the possibility of it happening as soon as this Saturday at Saturday Night's Main Event. In fact, WWE Creative has been tasked, as recently as just this week, with structuring a presentation of her return to television. So, with all that being said, Charlotte Flair, she is coming back. She is coming back and she's going to do so with a statement. She's going to do so with a vengeance. And I want to say this because you have to put context behind it. For years and years and years, Charlotte Flair was the face of women's wrestling. Yes, women's wrestling, not WWE's women's division, women's wrestling. She was one of the faces of the company. She did media for them all around the world. She worked hurt, injured, sick. That's what Charlotte Flair has done for this company. And in return, they have made her a huge, huge star. And I think fans need to realize that she, going back to even 2023, after WrestleMania 39, when she dropped the Women's World Championship to Rhea Ripley, I think at the time it was the SmackDown Women's title, the Raw Women's title, I forget. I digress. It's now the Women's World Championship. She took time off. She was going to do some bodybuilding. She was kind of half in, half out. She took multiple months off. She was looking at other projects. Then she returned. And she had a decent little run. Only problem was they booked her as a babyface, and like Charlotte Flair's not a babyface, in my opinion. She can portray it, she can play it, she'll do fine with it, but it's not great. It's not epic. It's not the best version of Charlotte Flair. And then she got injured. So now she's coming back. She's going to do so with the idea being, okay, the last time that these people saw her on television, she was booked as a babyface, not in her best natural light. She was also half in, half out. She almost, I don't want to say took it for granted. I don't think that's the case, but she wasn't able to put her 100% focus on it. Now she's had a year. She's had a year to look at what she hasn't had for a year. She's seen that the company has moved on, that they didn't skip a beat without her. It's a machine. She's a cog in the wheel of the machine, right? You take one cog out, you put another one in, the machine keeps going. It's a Steve Austin analogy. Highly recommend it. She's seen this, outside looking in. And she knows the last time the fans saw her, she was a babyface. She was not presented in the same light in which we will know her when she's inducted into the WWE Hall of Fame one day. She is one of the best heels in the history of this business, without a shadow of a doubt. She is one of the best wrestlers in the history of the business. Not women's division, not women's wrestling, in the history of the overall industry. She's one of the best heels, one of the best talkers in history. Now she's going to be coming back after a year of being on the shelf with the intent to go down and make her mark known on this run. I became the GOAT. I become the greatest of all time in the women's division. Arguably of all time, right? I still think Hulk Hogan, Steve Austin, Rock, Flair, right? They hold those honors. Even John Cena. But of women's wrestling, 1,000%. And she's going to do so, and you best believe WWE, because they were already starting to build to it, they're like, oh, she's coming up on 16 world championship reigns. We better get her to 17 real fast. Let's break this record before we don't have the opportunity. Now, obviously, she's going to be around for a while, and I think she's going to easily surpass that. I think she'll be a 20-plus time women's world champion. I really do, because I think she's got at least another 5 years in her. I think she's 39, 36, 39. Someone Google it for me. But at the end of the day, Charlotte Flair is going to be around WWE for a while. In fact, she can work a part-time schedule if she wanted to and still be able to do what she needs to do. She's 38. She turns 39 on April 5th. So she's going to be around for a minute. And she's going to work with all those names in which I mentioned. Your Julias, your Stephanie Valkers, your Jada Parkers, your Cora Jades, your Roxanne Perez's, your Tiffany Strattons. And here's the beautiful thing. She's been out the game for a year. So now she's returning, and she's going to do so and go up against a lot of big-time talent. She's going to go and get to share the ring with the likes of Tiffany Stratton and Jade Cargill and a new and improved Liv Morgan and a new and improved and elevated Rhea Ripley. They can revisit her past with Becky Lynch if they need to. They can revisit her past with Nia Jax, who is our women's champion right now. There's a lot of different moves that they can do with her when she returns. And it's something in which I've been looking forward to. Not only as a content creator, I've missed making videos about Charlotte Flair. It's another talking point. It's another interesting name and another interesting face that you can discuss about, and that you can discuss new items, and you can see where they're going with her, and you can see what they've done with her in various ways. But she's also someone that the company should be looking forward to having back as a brand ambassador, as a wrestler, for everything involved. That's what I cannot wait for. So, here we go.